Hey guys, this is Kathy Isabel Jennings, Your Life Matters Wellness. Getting on pretty fast, I hope. This is the day after the vote on Congress for the Equality Act, and let's get to the point. Your life matters, you matter, and it's time to take a stand. And today I'm going to give you an update. All right, so yesterday in the House of Representatives, this Equality Act was passed by a vote of 224 to 206, which means it's heading to the House today, and I'm telling you to get a hold of your senators who you voted for, by the way. You voted for them. And if you care anything about what I'm about to say, get on the phone now and tell your senators to vote no. To vote no for the Equality Act. You're against it. You do not want it to reshape how we are defined and our religious freedoms are defined. All of that. Okay, I'm going to give you an update on it. Okay, so this basically is the Equality Act. It is a tandem on the 1963 Civil Rights Bill, and it's just so narrow as an attachment on that bill, but it changes the ball game. It changes the whole ball game on how we see ourselves. First of all, God created two genders, male and female. He created them both. He did not create a in between. He did not create any of that stuff. And I'm going to stand firm on that. Stand firm on what Creator God did for you as a gender created God. He created two genders. Okay, so what this does, it's not just about gender. It's so much more, people. It is so much more. And don't think for a second that it's to be minimized, because you need to stand up for who you are and not be afraid. And that's why I'm on this platform. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so basically this addendum or this act attached to the Civil Rights Acts prevents discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. Don't think for a second I am having discrimination here. It's not about that topic. It is about all of this. Okay, basically it would take gender identity and it would enshrine it Okay, so basically, I'm sorry, I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I'm just so frustrated right now. It basically expands the protection of the genders, discrimination of, if people are questioning their identity under the Civil Rights Act, and it increases their identity, if you want to call it that way, as being protected under federal funding, under public accommodations, let's see, any kind of retail establishments and services. So basically what that means is businesses that choose to withhold services based on their religious beliefs and those kind of choices, it would impact them and it would make them push forth their services, whether they feel convicted in some form or another. It's a freedom issue, okay? So this Equality Act would supersede the Religious Freedoms Restoration Act, which was passed in 1993, which says that it had set a higher priority for those who had to argue the dynamics of religious freedoms. It would affect that and make people have to put forth a harder argument to religious freedoms. Okay, so you research that yourself, all right? But there are a couple major issues, and I personally am for both of these major issues because I care about little girls and I care about my religious freedoms and yours. Okay, so first of all, it's senators, both senators and Congress people. Okay, and I'm getting this data, by the way, from his name is Steve Fausch, and he's very active right now in the church system as a result of COVID, and he's talking to everybody right now, everybody, and I'm almost paraphrasing what he's saying, but I've been researching this myself. Congressmen and senators are saying that this is targeting the churches. This is targeting them and their religious freedoms. This particular bill, now it sounds like the equality bill, but guess what? This is definitely targeting the churches and how they do stuff. For instance, one of the things I was thinking of is adoption agencies, and I'll get to that too. But this act changes the definition of sexual orientation to include pregnancy, childbirth, or medical conditions, and overrides the religious freedoms and protections facing employers to pay for abortions. Regardless of religious objections, it forces state taxpayers to pay for abortions through Medicaid and Medicare programs. So I'm going to go back to the church thing in a minute. So doctors or any practitioners who have a conviction of not performing an abortion because of their religious freedoms, they will be forced to do these procedures whether they want to or not. Because if they are, any of these practitioners and doctors are receiving any other form of Medicaid for whatever reason, they because they're receiving any, they have to, this is included in it now. And so here, this is crazy. Abortion can be considered pregnancy discrimination if this bill is passed. If this act is passed, it can be considered pregnancy discrimination under this Equality Act with the child. Now listen to this. With the child in the womb being labeled as an illness that needs to be cured. What? This is insane, people. This is insane. So I'm going to, I want to tell you, let's see. Okay, so who is putting this forth? All right. In my previous video, I was saying that there are two genders, a male and a female. He created them both. He did not create an in-between or an indecisive person. He created people in his image. So to go against that that revelation and that reality is going against the history of our world. It's going against how societies were formed based on these two genders. Okay, so to convolute it and have this like not even a structured argument about a gender, because it's so indecisive. It's changing the whole history of our genders situation. Both genders, I hope I'm so frustrated. Pushing this forward as a norm, and it's a small group of people in government, and it happens to be the U.S. government, and it happens to be the far left democratic agenda that can change the world's perspective on genders. We can't allow this, people. We can't allow them to do this. Okay, let's go back to the church situation. All right, so what it says is the government pays, let's say they give money to like Planned Parenthood for abortions. They give money to adoption agencies, okay? There's a whole big, vast, what's the word that I'm thinking? A whole big, vast structure of people in nonprofit who have established adoption agencies, okay, under 501s. All right. And what this is going to do is, if it's targeting, which it is, it's going to target the church system of which these of which these adoption organizations have operated systematically to give babies a new life, a new home, all right, it's going to take that away. Where are those babies going to go? I don't know. And we can't let that happen. The other thing that we cannot let happen is, and I've said this in my other video, gosh darn it, people, little girls grow up to be women. We have worked so hard in the last over 100 years for our rights. Okay, I respect it. We've had issues with the genders. I am not going to dispute that right now. That's not this argument. What is important to know is people like me, who is a grandmother and a mother, and I love my girls, all right? I will defend the little girl till I die. I will defend the little boy till I die. It's time for us to look at the fact that little girls have a hard enough time through men. Oh God, Kath, it's early in the morning. I only had one cup of coffee. Sorry. Little girls have a hard enough time in adolescence. Okay, you throw this whole gender equation in when they're modest and they're starting to explore their bodies and they care about their bodies, and you throw someone who's questioning their agenda in their shower at gym or their ladies' room when these little girls are starting to have their periods and menstruate. This is not right. It's not right. And if there's a transgender issue for identity, give them their own facilities. This is my argument. Give them their own facilities. There's nothing wrong with that. But to put that on my daughter's shoulders and on a mother's shoulders to deal with that while they're dealing with an adolescent daughter, are you kidding me? This is so the Democratic Party does not care about females. I don't care what they say. They don't care about females because you put a track star, a little girl track star, I mean, a teenager, young adult track star up against someone who's doesn't know what they want to be as a gender, and that person's going to get nailed. She's going to get nailed because of that. It's already been happening in the arena. Okay, one little girl got her skull crushed, and everybody's praising this person who has no identity, or they're questioning it. Let's get mental health in on this whole thing. Okay, where are they? All right. It's time, people. We have a Bill of Responsibilities in addition to our Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights equals freedoms. We need to stand up to our Bill of Responsibilities. I thought I had one right here. Yes, I do. We need to stand up our Bill of Responsibilities, people. Okay? We need to stand up and go to our senators, church people, get kicked out of the pew, man. Get out there and call your senator and say you will not revote him into office if he says yes to this equality bill. I'm Catherine Isabel Jennings. Your life matters. Our future matters. Our little girls' identities matter. The church matters. Get out there today. Get out there now.